No space on my phone to record. Have to say something, so I'm using my laptop, so it's weird quality. Behold him. Have I shown? I don't think I've had leisurely on the videos yet. My speech baby. Okay, this one's gonna be rougher. I'm just like venting right now. I probably swear. I don't know. So I'm reading this book, right? Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. Very good book. Also, I'm gonna be completely spoiling this book. It's about a lot of the things that I personally care about and want to write about, and it's just like my experience because it's about autism and queerness and evangelical American culty church situations. And also like it's like a supernatural like horror kind of book. But it does the same freaking thing that every one of these does, which is be fucking materialist about it. Why is it necessary? It's fine. Like, a lot of people genuinely experience life in that way and experience religion in that way, and there are still people with the full range of like human experience and whatever, but I live in such a different world that I just don't feel like I don't feel seen, I guess, by I think that's why we're having such strong like feelings about it, because I went through an experience that's superficially pretty similar to what is described in this book, and the book even makes it like supernatural in a cool way, and it's like really good for that. But also the way that they like materialize everything just makes it like no, like to me you're missing the point. From my experience, yeah, and it's the same feeling as I get with like Warrior Nun, the same sort of disappointment, I guess. And it's unfair, I suppose, in a way to like be disappointed because, well, it's just a personal preference, I suppose. This is the way that I see the world, and other people like see it differently, and the art that they produce reflects that. But like, for me, reading this, and then like watching Warrior Nun, I made a video about Warrior Nun, but I don't think I posted it. I'm talking way too fast for anyone to understand me, aren't I? Look at how nice. I love this haircut so much. Truly like the love of my life. Anyway. Okay, I need to not do that. I'm just gonna stare directly into the camera. Yeah, because Warrior Nun also does a similar thing about talking about both science and spirituality and trying to kind of have them interact. But mild world building spoilers for Warrior Nun. I think the movie is devoid of anything that could be called real, like, spirituality, like mystical spirituality. It's a human story about humans and supernatural elements in like a scientific way, which is fine. But it isn't a story about like genuine religion or spirituality. Like that's not, it's missing the point. Like it's like childish and laughable in having like a literal like portal to hell and like literal like creatures crawling out. Like that's not the point. And the way that they treat God, there's no like God in that story. There's no real like spiritual force that's God in that story. Like it's a story about humans, it's a story about people. And maybe like people with superpowers. But it's not a story about, it just co-opts the Christian imagery to tell that story, which is a damn cool aesthetic, but it's not like, yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. And to me, disappointing because I wish that more, because when I do see something that, maybe does represent the mystical experience, or however you'd want to put it, in a more accurate way, a lot of the time that comes with the shallowness and prejudices of organized religion. And so I feel very torn between two worlds. Because on the one hand, the shows that are maybe more forward-minded, or open-minded, I should say, in the way that they treat their human characters, have a shallowness to the spiritual and supernatural elements of them that makes them childish and makes me just want to laugh at them or be angry at them, because I'm like, no, this is not what it's like, and it's not what it's about. And on the other hand, if you do find something that is like about, that maybe has more deep like mystical elements or whatever to it, and I'm trying to even think of an example. I don't know. I don't have any examples for the opposite, but it'd probably like fit into like the Christian tradition, and then it's doesn't cover certain other elements of reality, or certainly of my reality. But to get back to this book, like in this specific case, the sort of central idea of it, which I love, is that there's this like gay conversion camp, right? Which converts kids by literally tethering demons to them, and then like I guess they just suppress their memories of this whole experience, which is like a great that's a great, I think, metaphor for what actually does happen when you get abused. Also, like, especially if you went through like Ramco, like I'm pretty sure that I haven't, but been through that, but like anyway, basically it's a good metaphor and concept. But it's like this girl who at first, is really involved in her church and community and family, and trusts that, and is trying to be a good Christian, and then discovers this super messed up thing that was done to her, and that like everything is a lie, and like wants to like take down the institution. But it lacks, for me, first of all, for me, and this is just not true for a lot of people who leave their religion, for me the most pertinent like element in especially in my coming out of the toxic religion, was the divine, was a personal experience of like God, really. And before that, I wasn't there for the community, I wasn't there for my family, I was there for my God, who I knew as my God, who was really not the reality of them, but it was only, I don't know. But in this case, this is more a story about like losing your faith, because it was a false faith to begin with, which is fine. It's like that's an experience that a lot of people have. That's not my main beef. My main beef is that they like discover the demons are like, okay. For part of my main beef is that the character is autistic. Okay, so for this video, just imagine that you're like some random friend or acquaintance of mine, and I'm just venting to you because I don't have anyone to vent to about this. But I was gonna put on makeup today. I might put on makeup today still, and if I do, then I'll be like, why did I not do this before I recorded? I don't know. The gender fluidity has shifted, so taking my opportunity to put on makeup as much as possible. And so my main beef with the story, okay, so the first beef is that it's not beef, it's just like, okay, this is a different story. This is the cliche story. Not cliche, I don't know. Well, for me, it feels cliche of somebody loses their faith because their faith was like built on a web of lies or whatever. Which wasn't what happened to me, or at least not entirely. I don't know. Second beef has to do with the character's autism, because she's autistic, right? But like every other autistic person who gets represented, she is like a materialist about things and is always thinking about her brain chemicals, and yeah, is a complete materialist. Which I guess is just the way that this author is, because he's autistic. I'm not saying it's a unrealistic depiction of autism. I'm just like, why? Why can't we have like one autistic person who isn't freaking Sherlock Holmes, who like recognizes that spiritual realities are realities, one, that they're just as real as the scientific realities and just as able to be hyper fixated on and being autistic about living proof. And two, that they're not realities on the same level. the screen shake, because the laptop's on my lap, is really adding to this. That they're not on the same level as your atoms and like whatever. Can we get? Oh my god, it's not that hard a concept. But no, I have to endure yet another person hyperfixating upon random scientific trivia facts and like adrenaline and their nervous system and breaking everything down into that. Why can't we break everything down into mystical and spiritual categories? Why can't that be treated with just as much vigor, etc.? So it's very much beef of mine. Yeah. Obviously, I need to write a story or create some sort of art that communicates this unique intersectional perspective of mine, because it's pissing me off that I can't find anything, but I'm just not capable of doing that right now. I don't have the energy or the ideas, but I'm storing up rage for it, apparently. And the third Beeves, multiple Beeves. The third one is, and we're lagging now. The third beef is that they discover, like, there's the portal to hell, right? So the demons are tethered to them, right? And they have to like get rid of them in order that they can feel their gay thoughts and feelings without feeling the internalized shame by someone literally tethering a demon to them to like suppress these thoughts. And like, yes, give me this. But so the demons turn out to be like scientific flesh and blood creatures that you can kill with like fire. Which is like, okay, sure. Reality, like, there's no such thing as the supernatural in the sense of a reality that's completely cut off from science. Like, yes, or that's completely spiritual. Like, it's complete interpenetration. Like, everything can be viewed through the lens of spiritual, and everything can be viewed through the lens of like flesh or scientific. It's so yeah, sure, okay. But then like the place where the demons are coming from is like hell, right? And it's, hold up, I have to check. So they discover this portal to hell, right? Like the place where the demons are coming from is hell. Like the Christian hell. Which is revealed to be just fucking some place, like a physical place, like an office building. Where people have tubes in them and their like skin gets peeled off or something. That's the real hell. No, no. It's a hyper object. No. Like that completely ruins it for me. It completely ruins it for me because I just want to like either scream in frustration or just like laugh because it's so like no. Okay, it's storming outside and now you can't see me. Yes, the storm is expressing my absolute rage at this. No. This is what happens when I don't have a script for my videos. Someone else is saying no. I just really like stormy all of a sudden. It's the literal hell people coming for me. Okay, so the symbolic concepts like heaven, hell, God, And, I guess demons too, although maybe they're, yeah, and demons, and angels and stuff. You miss the point of it by flattening them down and saying that the real reality of them is these, like, finite, physical, concrete, one place, one time kind of realms. Like, that just isn't. It transcends that. It's fully just super dark now. I'm gonna turn the light on. Well, I should have done that a long time ago. It's mood lighting. Like, hell is like a pattern that, in a reality that is beyond these 4 dimensions, and it, manifests in space-time at certain points, and at certain points more strongly than others. And sure, if you discover a literal flesh hell realm where people are peeling people's skin off, that is definitely hell. But you can't say, like, that all of the depictions of hell, all the references to hell, all the symbolic richness and reality of hell is really referring to that, like, fleshy place. Because it's deeper than that, and it goes beyond that. And the same with heaven. If we really did discover a scientific heaven, that would not be the fullness of heaven, because it is inherently like a spiritual reality that is beyond that. It's beyond that, and it, like, is eternal and manifests in the spatiotemporal world, at different points, like one of those things where you have, like, a 3-dimensional circle intersecting a 2-dimensional plane, but you can't look at one of the little circles slices and be like, oh yes, that is the sphere, like it is, but it isn't fully. And this book has zero understanding of that, and it's frankly childish, and I feel insulted. Yeah. Because when something is close to my experience, I personally invest in it, and then I feel personally, like, disappointed or insulted when something's treated in just, oh my goodness, it's really rainy out there. Probably not gonna get my gelato today, am I? Yeah, so I think that's basically it. Hell is, a hyper object. It's more dimensions. You couldn't open up a doorway and go into a physical space in one point in time in reality with physical flesh creatures that have, like, their traits, and be like, okay, like, well, I guess this is what hell, like, is, like, fully, like, wow, I can't believe we discovered the real hell after everyone's been spouting this spiritual nonsense at us. You couldn't take a demon. It's like mycelium and the fruiting bodies of the mushrooms. Hell is the mycelium. And the mushrooms, yes, but not, like, it depends on what the definition of is. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, you still don't, and you've also probably stopped watching this at this point. Yeah, this was mostly for my personal venting of feelings about books. It's a good book. It's cathartic, sweet, nicely written. Especially if you are one of those people who's, like, left their faith by literally leaving their faith, it will be a lot more affirming to you than people like me who have this weird thing going on, that I really do need to write something about, or else I'm going to keep getting pissed off at books that don't happen to read my mind and perfectly represent my experiences. Anyway, I love you. Lazuli loves you. Go off and don't languish in hell, because hell is an internal state, not an external state, and it is everywhere and nowhere, and so is heaven, and it's like, again, a hyper object that it comes through to our reality at certain points and times, but we can't pin it down, and we certainly can't scientifically discover it.